Alright, see if we can do a walk around of the little Baja Bug. And of course I'm just saying Baja because that's the style it is. It's not an off-road vehicle by any means, but a clean little car. We took it down to bare metal to paint it. And bare metal and or some of the original primer and paint. In some spots it was still in decent shape under there. We didn't find any rust to repair or any old rust repairs. The car was in really solid shape. New tires and wheels. Redid the brakes on it. New linings all the way around. Flex hoses where it needed them, and wheel cylinders where it needed them. I took the wheels down and blasted them and painted them in that an SPI white epoxy primer. Very tough, should hold up well on the wheels. New gaskets and wipers on the windows. New felt and such in the one-piece side window conversions that it already had. Put the sidebars on it with some carbon fiber inlays because I thought it would look nice. It's real carbon fiber. Same with the little bit of trim there on the rockers. Just little touches that we like. LED lights on the back. They light up red. The engine, I don't think it's anything special. 1600, I believe. Runs fine. Oil pressure comes right up. It's got aluminum valve covers on it, and the thing doesn't seem to leak. If anything, it doesn't leak much. It doesn't mark the spot where it sits, so that's pretty cool for a Volkswagen. Aluminum air cleaner. I think it's an MP. And like I say, it's best I can tell, it's just a stock engine, and it runs, like I say, it runs fine. I'll start it up for you before we're done here, but again, no drips and runs underneath it. We did have the rear or the outer CV joints apart, so we lubed those up when we had them open. The one-piece nose is new. It was one of the pieces that came with it. This was my wife's late nephew's car, and they did it, I think, back in the 90s. Her dad and him did it for his first car, and we ended up getting it from my wife's brother when he realized he really wasn't going to be able to do anything with it. But you can see the bodywork came out good. There's a few waves in it. That sort of shows that one. I think this shows that well. I put enough paint on it to wet sand and buff it, but we haven't done that yet. It was primed also with an epoxy primer, and then we painted it in a urethane single stage orange. Use these side latches for the front end. You push the button. Sometimes it takes two hands. You have to push back a little bit on this side. We'll see if we can do it. Pardon shaking around here, but that came open reasonably easy, so we can just grab it and I didn't have this driver's hot off the pin yet, but the front end tips up. We built a little wooden stick for it here, a dowel, with some stoppers on it so it'll hold it up. So that holds the front end up. You can see we just put the fuel filler on a piece of silicone hose, which worked out. It's a little dusty in here, but fuel tank was taken out and cleaned, and it was really nice on the inside, no rust. You can see the headlights we put in made the stands and welded those to the front bumper. The closeouts on the dash panel area hide the electrics and stuff from the sort of open front end are also carbon fiber. It's a cord carbon fiber panel that we cut up and put in there. It makes it look nice, and it gives you some protection from the outside, since the one-piece nose is not really sealed all that well. Sort of the nature of them. You can see the inside of it looks nice. You know, all this isn't fresh, but it's you know, all in good shape. The driver's seat does have a tear on the side there. Other than that, the upholstery looks like it's in good shape. The back seat's solid, of course. They don't ever get used. The little carpet's coming up a little bit back there in the corners. I'll see if I can glue that down. If I can, I will. The The dash, it's got the ID tag. Somebody had made a new one at some point, and not sure why they made it out of such a lumpy piece of metal, but they did a good job stamping the numbers. One of the original defroster ducts. I didn't notice that till late on. I might have done something about that, but they'd covered those over and put one in the middle, and for some reason that one popped out. It's got an impy shifter, which works well. Actually shifts pretty good. A little 8-ball shift knob. It's got a cool 90s stereo that powers up. Let's see if I can get that to work. It does play music, but I've never really tested it to see how well. That's kind of neat. And you push this again and it opens up the CD player there at the top. And then pushing, oh, I mean, I'm still figuring this out. Push it again, and then we push and hold the power button and it goes completely off. I guess that was a big thing in the 90s, having stuff like that. But anyway, some speakers down in the kick panel and those ones you saw in the back. So we'll show a cold start here. Push the clutch, hit the gas twice. See all the lights go out right away. Say the thing just seems to run well. We rebuilt the carburetor. Went through the electrics, got everything working on it. One of the things that's interesting, you may have seen that a second ago, is I added LEDs on the dash to work with the LED lights for turn signal indicators, and also have it hooked up so when you get on the brakes, they light up so you know the brake lights are working. But anyway, the right and left indicator. In here, the thing runs okay, no smoke. See if I can do that again for you. Just a painted header, but I'm running around a little bit, maybe 100 miles or so. The paint seems to stay on it pretty well. I mean, all in all, it's just a nice little car. It's you know, I don't know what much to say about it other than it's just a nice little Volkswagen. Didn't have any rust. I got some pictures I've got in the listing that shows the bottom. There was no rust in the bottom of it. Say the thing's real solid. Didn't have any previous rust repairs, and like I say, didn't have any needed when we had it apart this time. I guess maybe the only spot that even looked like there was a touch of rust was right at the bottom of that A-pillar. But you know, it's nothing structural, and it's right at the bottom, and I don't think it matters at all. It's just, like I say, if it would have been worth messing with, I'd have replaced it. But the outer panel looked good. This side had previous body work. You can see where somebody had used a screw type dent puller. And you know, I was gonna mess with it, but the one-piece nose covers it, and it just really wasn't worth getting in and replacing that whole panel or cutting and sectioning it, since it's pretty much invisible when it's done. And it sort of shows our headlight mounting, the front end mounting in there. And it's spaced out with some Delrin or UHMW plastic spacers to get it all lined up decent. You know, the underside, I've got pictures of it, but there's sort of a picture of at least a video shot. It doesn't hardly show anything, but we'll look under the back here, show you again after running it. There's no leaks. The bottom of the engine, hopefully that shows some of it. There's a hint of a drip on there, but it just doesn't leak much at all for a Volkswagen. But you know, it's just a solid little car. Thanks for looking.